I think it was pretty obvious for some people that I ended up talking about this game, but for those that don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Ages ago I did a vote on my Twitter on which game I should do a video on first, and it was between Marvel Superheroes and Republic Commando, and... pretty self-explanatory, right? Now with that out of the way, let's get on with it. If it's not already pretty obvious and I need to stop using that word, this game came out before Revenge of the Sith and is basically a cash grab side story to the main story. But a much better story if you ask me. To cut the story short, as I wish not to talk about this for long, but I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan and I like all the movies, even the ones everybody else hates. Okay, moving on. When first playing this game, it feels like another generic Star Wars game trying its best to entertain you while also advertising the next movie it's based around. But then... things get a little different.
Where are we?
Changing visor mode.
What the? You've got to be kidding.
Alright, this is getting serious.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that this game scared me in some parts as a kid, but also, this is a Star Wars game? Okay, let's back up a little bit here. The story is that you are a commando, a much higher rank than the other clones, and together with your squad you need to infiltrate many locations to get ahead during the Clone War. Not the most detailed origin story, I'll grant you, but I think it works since you're not, anything special. Speaking of something special, the gameplay is really fun and engaging. But sadly, I do have to be the bad guy here, and don't worry, I'll try and make this short and sweet. The port for this game has a mouse setting that likes to jump straight to light speed, and my god, it makes navigating the menu a painful struggle. You can fix this by getting a mod, but since I'm a strange guy, I didn't install it. I would have said that a lot of Steam games can use a controller, and you just have to plug it in and everything will be smooth, but yeah, Steam sucks sometimes. Getting back to the game, you're in charge of 3 other commandos, Scorch, Fixer and Sev. I love them. Their personalities shine through this game, and every time they converse with one another, it really feels like they're all brothers and they look out for each other. Also, going off topic a little bit, the main character has some really good one-liners.
You lizards need to learn that I'm a lot scarier than you are.
Still sends a shiver to the spine. Yep, the voice acting is on point here. In fact, all of it is on point with its sound effects, graphics, storylines, and music. Also, am I the only one that's thinking that they should use music like this in more Star Wars movies and games? Honestly, one of the best things I've heard in my life. Each missions are in many different locations. Well, actually there's only 3 locations. But thankfully the levels within those locations are long enough for you to get something out of them. So I guess that's a plus? Can't tell at this point, as with everything else this game gets right, the flaws sort of become less of an issue. Getting back to the characters for a little bit, each one of them have their own sets of skills. Scorch is the demolition expert and is the Michelangelo of the team.
Red, green, or red, green, red.
And he's supposed to be the demolition expert.
Fixer is your tech expert and is able to hack his way into anything, and also the Donatello of this team.
Squad lead. Sir, Commando explosive.
And finally Sev. He's Raphael.
Man, this place gives me the creeps.
A Scorch. Nothing better than a jungle hunt. Hiding in the bush, putting a plasma bolt through a hostile's cranium. Makes me feel alive.
Okay, now 07's giving me the creeps.
The only gripe I have with your squad is that even though each one is a specialist, no one does better than the other, so almost a pointless mechanic added, but in truth it doesn't really matter because each one, as I said, does, exactly the same as the other does. If it wasn't apparent, but the visor is very well detailed, and when you kill up close you get stuff all over you. So you're gonna need it. The weapons you pick up along the way are all interesting and I would say unique to that area, but as you'll soon find out when you're going through the game, that ain't the case. Well, mainly at the end level mostly. Your main gun can turn into 4 different settings, like a sniper to an anti-armor tool. Nothing great sadly, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Speaking of something worth mentioning, of the levels, only 2 have anything to do with the main story of the movies, while 1 is special. And is also my favourite level in the entire game.
some trooper casualties here, Deltas.
Your mission is to investigate a ship that your characters used to be on that disappeared not too long ago. You and your squad split up across the ship, and what follows is a fun, engaging, tactful, and almost scary experience. Something I'd dare say very unlike Star Wars experience. Seriously, a Star Wars horror game sounds like a fantastic idea if done well. Or is it just me enjoying this level way too much? I can't really tell anymore. It's a great level and shows so much potential for something different to happen in this franchise's game series. And you know what? Despite it being clearly a cash grab tie-in into the last prequel movie, the amount of fun you get out of the main story with its character's story and the whole experience of the game, it's well worth your time. There was a multiplayer mode years ago, but sadly that has shut down. I think there are a few fan-made servers out there, but don't quote me on it. I personally wasn't interested in the multiplayer mode anyway due to enjoying the main story campaign so much. I should also point out that there are a few glitches in this game, but nothing too game-breaking, thankfully.
That breach, the resulting debris won't cause any further incursions.
Tornado neutralized.
Set for combat.
In conclusion, this game is great and a lot of fun if you couldn't already tell from the amount of enthusiasm I'm showing for this video. Just a shame about the multiplayer and a few hiccups here and there. If everything I've said about this game has got you keen to give it a try, it's only £7.19 on Steam and £8.09 on GOG. Well worth it if you ask me. So to wrap this up, that just leaves me to say, oh god.